knowledge itself is power, according to Francis Bacon. From my own experience, I have learned that it is what you do with that knowledge that is where the power is. Now, my kids, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and whenever they walk into their bedroom and their room is a mess, they don't even know what toys they have, and they go on sensory overload because they do not even know where to start. It's easier whenever it's organized and they can pull things out as they need them. For adults, we can go on information overload if we are not managing our knowledge in a good way. And by that, we need to be efficient with the knowledge that we are given. Today, I would like to share with you 3 ways that you can be more efficient with your knowledge that I have personally learned being in college. The 3 things that I would like to share is plan ahead, write things down, and communicate well. Benjamin Franklin said it well whenever he said, "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." It is very important that we take that and really use it. And actually, there's 3 things that we can use along the way. We can use deadlines. We can use deadlines to show what we need to do first and organize it by a timeline of what we need to do first, second, third, by when they're actually due. Now, the second way that you can plan ahead is to use your resources. Use resources to help you pin down exactly what you are trying to convey and to use for data backup as well. Now, the third thing is do not procrastinate. I personally have a story of procrastinating because I am a procrastinator. And last semester, I procrastinated and it was a huge mistake, and I very much learned my lesson. I ended up getting sick with the flu. Then I got sick with a stomach bug, and then I got sick with the flu again. All of this within 4 weeks, and I had to plead with my professors to give me mercy on my papers because I didn't plan ahead like I should have, and I admitted that. I admitted that it was something that I should have done. Sirius actually tells us that previous research has demonstrated that procrastinators experience high levels of stress. I don't know about you, but I do not need any added stress in my life. So the next important way is to be more efficient. The next important way to be more efficient is writing things down. I always felt like writing things down were for nerds and old people. Well, let's be honest here. The older you are, the wiser you are. And nerds are smart for a reason. One of those reasons is they write things down. I have definitely taken a lesson from that. Now, ways that you can write things down is, there's actually 3 that I could think of that I personally use, and the first one is to use a calendar. A calendar is very useful if you just have one appointment one day or one appointment another day. It's very useful to just write down one appointment at a time. The second thing I use is a planner. A planner is super useful for if you have more than one appointment, 1 or 2 appointments in a day, and you need to schedule an entire day. The third thing that I use is whenever I need to break it even further down and a planner is just not big enough, I have to break out my notebook and make notes, and I'm able to write down addresses and other things that I was missing in those 2 smaller ways to write things down. Borelli Liza Borelli actually says, note-taking is a practical way to acquire and retain information while saving time and effort. It is important to read, to remember things, but I think that the biggest thing that I took away from that quote was it saves time. I'm a mom with 2 toddlers, and I have a full-time job, and I'm going to school, and my husband needs me as well, and I am stretched very thin a lot of the time, and so making time and squeezing time out of other areas of my life is super important to me. So being efficient with your knowledge is also being able to express it well, which brings me to my final point: communicate well. I have had several classes as a college student, where I could have made a better grade if I were able to communicate with the professor. It is never a agenda on the professor's agenda to be unapproachable or to not make sense. Our professors are definitely there to help us through things, and vice versa. They want to be able to communicate with us as well. Just like I had to email my professor last semester about being sick. He wouldn't have known that I was sick if I hadn't communicated that to him. And so I spoke and as you can see here, I spoke to him and emailed him. He emailed me back. I listened to what he had to say, and then as a team, we discussed it and made compromises that were composed of both sides. That was super, super helpful, and it's very important to keep that open line of communication with professors and colleagues as well. Now, the final thing on being able to communicate well is being respectful. In our class this semester, we have done the FAIR test in almost every chapter, and it basically is facts, access, impact, and respect. Every single time our communications class has talked about communicating, we run past respect and respecting the other side of the discussion as well. Now, specifically, it asks, how respectful is your communication? Over and over again, we are asked, how respectful is your communication? And it is so important to keep your communication respectful, because it even says in the Bible in Matthew 7:2, for you will be treated as you treat others. And I know that not everybody believes in the Bible or in God, but that is some very wise words, because it is very true. If you're treating someone else with respect, you're going to get respect in return. And even if you don't immediately, I have found in my personal experiences as well that eventually that person that is not being respectful back will eventually be respectful back if you just keep being respectful. And I, for one, want others to treat me well, so I will be treating them well. Not just for ethics, but also so that we're responding well to each other. Now, today I have spoke with you about 3 ways that you can be more efficient with your knowledge. First, we talked about planning ahead. This takes the stress out. Second, I went over writing things down to save on time and effort. And lastly, we talked about communicating well and respectfully, so that you are heard and able to discuss things with others. Today, I would like to challenge you to make these few small changes in your everyday life to help you with your knowledge management and being efficient with the knowledge that you're given. Thank you.